please.
We're going to go ahead and call our meeting to order for the Stillwater Planning Commission Tuesday, April 1st, 2014. We have one item on the agenda this evening, land use item for discussion and possible action. Dustin Rivas, First Presbyterian Church, specific use permit PZ.14.1821, requesting review and approval to construct an electronic message center on property addressed as 524 South Duncan Street in the CB Commercial Business District. Mr. Coots, report.
Tom Coots, Development Services. The property in question is the First Presbyterian Church. It occupies an entire block in Stillwater, surrounded by Duck Street, and that's at 6th Avenue, and Duncan and 5th Streets, the block. It's surrounded by properties to the north that are zoned office and RTM, which is residential, two-family, and multifamily, and it's used residentially. The east, the CB commercial business, and it's in the BID, Business Improvement District, those commercial use. The south, part of it's zoned to public, and part of it's zoned to CB, and it's used commercial, and some of it's used for public purposes. And then finally on the west, we have 4 different zoning districts: CB, CG, which is commercial general, O office, CS commercial shopping. It's generally used for commercial uses. The church proposes to locate an electronic sign. It's I'll hover circle with my mouse. I've put a little sign arrow there, kind of there at the along 6th Avenue, kind of mid-block. This is what the sign would look like. It's approximately 11 feet tall. The electronic portion of it is about 14 square feet, and it's a monument-style sign. Staff findings include an electronic message center sign is allowed in the CB district with a specific use permit, and that's usually in the CB district. A sign, it would be allowed by right, but this property does abut against a little bit of area that's zoned residentially. When you're against residential, you do have to have an SUP. The sign location is not adjacent to the residential areas, and it is adjacent to a major commercial thoroughfare. The electronic message center signage is restricted to the display of time, temperature, and other public information. Ordinarily in the CB district. However, this request, they're asking for additional types of display as part of the SUP. And the sign appears to meet the general requirements and intent of the electronic message center signage and requirements in the code. So with that, do you have any questions for me?
Let Matt back up, Tom. The sign, is it not over on the parking lot? Or at the corner of Duncan on the, you there? Okay,
No.
You were kind of,
They're proposing, you have a little site plan probably. They're proposing to put up 2 signs, a monument sign to sort of match what's there at Duncan, and that isn't really a part of the, you don't need the SUP for that. This electronic sign is really over here.
oh, it's there?
Yeah.
So if we approve this tonight, does it go with the current landowner? If the landowner changes, is the permit go with them or not go with them?
Usually an SUP would go with land ownership.
So in terms of what can be displayed on this LED, is there limits or no limits?
The applicant is asking for no limits. Ordinarily in the CB district, an electronic signage would be restricted to that time, temperature, and public information, that sort of thing.
I have a very minor concern if they sell this property to someone else and it is no limits, then they could display things on it that
We have to be careful
I
along that
understand.
line of thought because church speech and commercial speech for other things would look at it about the same.
Are there restrictions on electronic signs on if it can flash or if it can
Yes.
scroll it can't change every 2 or 3 seconds or something like that? Because I know, I'm pretty sure it's the city of Oklahoma City, I might be wrong about that, but on their electronic billboards, they can only display, they have to display for at least 3 seconds, and then they can scroll again.
Yeah, we recently, within the last 2 years, changed the sign code to put in some of those things about the specific flashing and things like that. Now, you don't have to keep it static for a certain amount of time, so you can have up to like 10 seconds of video going around and whatnot.
Okay. And is that automatically assumed, those standards, if this
Yeah.
is approved?
Yeah, that
So
would be
there's
the-
still certain sign standards
Yeah.
that they would have to fall under? Any more
Was
questions?
that the countryside deal that we kind of had to do all that in?
Yeah, we've heard 2 of them now.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you.
At this time, we'll open the public hearing portion, and anyone that would like to speak in favor of the proposal, if they would step forward. You don't have to.
My name's Dustin Revis with the Presbyterian Church. Just simply, we were looking to do a replacement for the banners. Does this mouse work here? On the corner there of 6th and Duck is where we have some banners that tell church worship times and maybe Bible school announcements and things like that. And we were kind of trying to look to improve on that appearance, which is why we decided to go with an electronic sign. We decided to place it where we asked to place it, just to kind of keep it off the corner there where there's a lot going on anyway, and you've got the stoplights. And for sight lines, our church property has a lot of trees around it, and that was one place where we don't have to worry about taking out any trees. There's pretty clear sight lines from a little ways away if you're traveling up or down 6th Street, and it seemed to work out best for that. And yes, what Tom said a minute ago, on the corner, we're planning to put a replica of the sign that's on the southeast corner of 6th Street and Duncan, which is just a brick L-shaped sign that says First Presbyterian Church on it. So.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Dustin. Anyone else that would like to speak in favor? Seeing none, we'll close that portion. Anyone that would like to speak in opposition? Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing portion. Tom, ask you to come back up.
Okay, our
Alternative?
alternatives. We can accept staff findings and recommend approval of the request as presented. We can accept staff findings and recommend approval of the request with modifications. We can find that additional information and discussion is needed, and so either continue to a certain date or table till that information is available, or find that the use is not appropriate for the property based on the impacts and recommend that it not be approved by the city council. Thank you.
Any discussion?
I know that, we've allowed several of these, even on 6th Street, so as long as it meets code and criteria. I understand your thought on the unrestricted part. Don't know that it gives me a whole lot of heartburn, just because I think,
I've gotten over it.
just because we've had a
Quick. That was
church there for a long time, so.
So is that a motion?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to accept findings and recommend the city council approve the proposed specific use permit as presented.
Second?
We have a first and a second. Please vote.
Can you push abstain? Joe, can you push abstain for,
Get a little exercise.
thank you, sir.
That does pass this evening, 5 yes, 2 abstentions. Moving on, we have our meeting, or minutes from the March 11th. Did anyone get a chance to look over that?
Yeah, Chairman McCune, I do have a question. On the bottom part down there where it's under adjournment, I think that might be the wrong one. On the very bottom there, Cindy.
You didn't carry that date over to February 4th?
Right. And then the time is what caught my attention to it, because I think this meeting was only about 6 minutes long or
Okay.
something. So.
I will make those corrections and bring those back
Okay.
next week. Want to approve them and then we can sign them next time.
Okay. with that, I'd make a motion to accept the minutes with the changes we talked about on the adjournment portion.
Okay,
Second?
we have a first and a second. Please place your votes.
I was absent.
Okay. That does pass this evening, 4 yes, 3 abstentions. Our next planning commission meeting will be April 15th, 2014. With that, I'd entertain a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Second?
First and second, please place your votes.
Glad we didn't have a lot to vote on.
We are adjourned.
Their exercise.